spots by now. Like,
What's going on now?
People knocking their doors.
Oh yeah,
construction workers. Like, people might walk away. I hope that shit would happen.
Yeah, we just mute the mic. So we live right now.
All right. Shalom, shalom.
Kind. One start off and get all praise and honor and glory to Yahawah, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Dash. I want to say double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders at Great Millstone for giving us this truth and ruling over us in truth and sincerity and ruling over us well. And salutations to our fellow Akim across the four corners of the globe, preaching and prophesying in the name of Yahawah, Ba'Shem, Yahushai. And my brother Gabar YAHAWADAH from GMS Hawaii.
Nothing to Yakaba from Plain Tables, Philly.
Kind. I'm out here with the brothers out here in Philadelphia visiting, and me and the elder got together to do a lesson, and we hope that it's edifying. It's going to be concise, but Lord willing, it's to the point and edifying. The title of this lesson is called "The Wickedness of the Wealthy." The wickedness of the wealthy Edomites. All right, and what inspired this lesson was our conversation we were having on drugs. You know, we both come from an area, Philadelphia, which is littered with drugs. It's kind of always been that way since I've been born, you know, and even in the 70s, it was definitely an issue. And what you're seeing right now on your screen right now is a video of what is called colloquially Kensington Beach, but it's called Kensington Avenue. All right, and I'm staying close to here, so Lord willing, a little later today, I'm gonna do a walkthrough of this area, you know. But this area, all of this drug epidemic right now, this current drug epidemic that you see the world in right now, Jake is in right now, is fueled by the opioid crisis. It was spurred by what is known as the opioid crisis, and the opioid crisis that hit America. You can thank one particular family, the Sackler family. Okay, I'm not sure if they took a family photo. I'm trying to open up a new tab. Yeah, Edomite family, a wealthy Edomite family. You know, I did a lesson some time ago called families that you don't know. These wealthy Edomite families that you haven't heard about. Okay, because we hear about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Longoros, the Reynolds, but you don't know that there are other wealthy elite families, you know, that's ruling this world. Okay, that's ruling over so-called not just the world, that's ruling over the world, you know. And they'll say that they have like a couple of $1 billion or whatever like that, but they're all doing the bidding of the super elite families of the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. But there are other families like the DuPont family. They're pharmaceutical, and they're chemical company. I think you said that they're into other things too.
Yeah, hospitals, like medical research and stuff like that. Yeah.
So these families, they're in the higher echelons of all society, and it's these devils that look like the quintessential Edomites that they don't bother nobody. You would think that if they walked down the street today or tomorrow, you wouldn't know who they were. You wouldn't know who some of their people were. You know, you got a lot of people that benefit, a lot of political, a lot of legal or judicial people benefiting from this wicked family and their conduct. And they had no qualm about selling the world their poison. All they cared about was the bottom line because their family wanted money to just to spend. So you got the family is split into two parts. I was telling the elder, the family is split into two parts. You got the A side, you got the B side. And then all they really care about is profit. So when they see things like this, they could care less about how it affects the average working class and lower class people. They don't care that their drugs have destroyed millions of people. Real quick, this is the book of Sirach. Okay, the book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse 6. It says, there is none there is none worse than he that is. I'm sorry, stop it. Verse 4. Yeah, that's good right there. Really, that whole chapter is good. But I'll start at Sirach 14:4 at 144. It says that he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others that shall spend his goods riotously. And in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to take all that wealth. When you look up that term, can you look up that term for riotously, Baba Kasha? Yeah, they might spell it different because this is, yeah.
In a very loud and uncontrolled way that is full of energy. Everyone had a riotously good time. They laughed riotously.
Hold on, I'm share your screen. Can you read it again?
It says, in a very loud and uncontrolled way that is full of energy.
Right. So when we get that money, when we get that wealth in the kingdom of heaven, it ain't going to be nothing to us. And all that money that when I say money, I'm not talking about FRNs. I'm talking about the real wealth. We're going to get that wealth that Esau used by defrauding people and even his own soul, and we're going to spend it like it's nothing. It ain't going to mean nothing to us because in reality, everything going to belong to us. Everything in the earth, on the earth, and above the earth through the spirit and power of YAHAWADAH. Let's keep on reading. Verse 5. It says, go back. This is Sirach chapter 14, verse 5 again. It says, he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Right. And what that means by being evil to yourself. Well, Esau Edom, he doesn't care if these drugs affect the so-called white man in it or the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. He don't care. He don't care that he kills his own kind. So how can you ever think that he could be good to you? Like me and the elder was talking about, this whole drug thing. Like right now, everybody getting up in arms about weed. Like Apostle Har said in a live show, we can't be emotional about it. Just because it ain't a particular law written on it, you got to do what's best for you and your health.
You can't just dive head first just because something ain't a law. There's many things that aren't necessarily laws that we still observe certain customs. And we start looking into these drugs. You'll start to find out a lot of them are synthetic. They just copy the plant, like the Oxycontin, like you're going into with that family. Oxycontin. Can you share my screen real quick?
Yeah.
Oxycodone. I put in because if you're going to start splitting hairs, well, because if you want to do weed, then you can just pretty much do anything. All right. Oxycontin. I say, what plant does it come from? So I know got the E right there. I know what Esau does. He'll copy the plant. Copy it. He'll copy the plant to try to get.
We want it.
Yeah, he'll copy the plant to try to get the same effects from the plant because you can't patent the plant because it's all about money. All right. So it says oxycodone, if I'm saying that right, is synthesized form of faidine, a constituent of poppy plant.
So it's literally a factor that's within the plant because the poppy seed got other things that make it up. But that fabian, that's the one that gives you that morphine feel because morphine comes from poppy too. Morphine comes from poppy. Heroin comes from the poppy seed, right? And so they use this particular factor that helps create the plant. They synthesize it. Can you look up the term for synthesize? Or after you do what you're doing? Yeah, synthesize. To synthesize something, right? It says made by synthesis, especially chemically. So all
in a laboratory.
In a laboratory. Why? Because Esau thinks he's the Most High. Esau thinks that he's the Heavenly Father. He thinks he's greater than the Heavenly Father, and that the things that YAHAWADAH created, he thinks that he could do better. So what he do? He go into a laboratory, he synthesize it, he put it all together.
Drugs, pretty much.
And what you ain't supposed to do that. The scriptures tell us that we're not supposed to mix seed. Even even we were talking about the whole weed situation. A lot of that shit is synthetic in nature, right? So they put different seeds. They got something called hybrids. That's a big deal in the hydroponic, the cannabis and hydroponic world. Is what they doing is they mixing plants. You ain't supposed to do that. If you can get that precept, elder, mix not
diverse,
diverse seeds.
Gender with diverse kind, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was it. But that's a law. We're not allowed to do that. And we're not saying all of this because we got our own separate doctrine from the apostles. Nah, what the apostle Tahar said is what was said. You got to do things that's expedient for you. But just look at how what Esau's so-called drugs have done to our people.
Yeah, we recommend you not do it.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
In good conscience, we can't tell you condone it and say it's okay.
Yeah,
to burn herbs and do drugs, OxyContin, crack cocaine, heroin, fentanyl. Yeah. Just because it's not in the law.
Yeah.
We can't condone that. We recommend you brothers not to get involved in that lifestyle.
Yeah, man, because you want to be clear-headed. These people right here, Salah, you can't see it, but the people that's on that out there in Kensington right now, even as we speak, these people are out there. These people ain't clear-minded, man. These people are driven with demons on them. They're possessed, man. Okay, they're being destroyed by destroying themselves, man. And they get hooked. See, that's another thing too. These devils didn't care that this drug, would be what they call it when you hooked on something, addictive. They didn't care. All they cared about was the bottom line. Even though money isn't even real, Esau can't do no good because in the end he just got to do wickedness. He can't help himself. So to look at this man to think that any product that he gives you is going to be good, you got to question it. And even like Elder Apostle Hart said in that video, I think he said in the 70s, weed became like illegal through Nixon. It became a Schedule I drug, right? Because what happened was when marijuana was brought over here, and I'm sure there probably was some local marijuana in North America, but it mainly came up here via Mexico. And they didn't bring it up here to sell. It was just something that Issachar was using while in the work field. So they would smoke it, and it wasn't just passing time, it was pain relievers. You know what I'm saying? It was just something like to keep them mellow. So when they brought it up here to America, one of the biggest fights after what you call the prohibition was like, hey, these drugs, they didn't want no high black people because at first there's a whole scare campaign for marijuana. They said that it'll make black men rape white women, all crazy kind of shit. So it scared people. So they was like, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna make this a Schedule I drug. It's gonna be illegal here. Cocaine, likewise, cocaine comes from a plant. But what is it? It's synthesized. The cocaine powder that you get is mixed with chemicals in a lab. If you take these separate chemicals alone, you can die. You know what I'm saying? And who's the biggest drug dealer behind that? Esau Edom through the United States government, the CIA, and all the rest of that shit. You got this.
Yeah, the Food and Drug Administration, they regulate the drugs. It's literally called drugs. They try to make the drugs derogatory, but that's literally on the on their organization name.
That's right.
But 1919 says, "He shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled with linen and woolen come upon them."
And all these things happen right now in the world that we live in. You got diverse cattle. It says, "Thou shalt not let thy cattle engender with a diverse kind." I forgot what that word gender means, but you're not supposed to let it mix with a diverse kind. You got that. When they cook a lot of this hamburger meat, it ain't hamburger. Hamburger ain't beef always, man. It'll be like pork in there. It'll be lamb in there. It'll be deer in there. It'll be any and everything mixed in it.
Reproduce population.
Oh, reproducing population. So that's another thing too. Yeah, you ain't supposed to let animals, which they don't naturally do that anyway.
A lion or tiger.
Yeah. You ever heard of a liger? Yeah. Esau did that. Yeah. Esau made he took the genes or genetics or the semen from a lion and mixed it with either a womb of a tiger. and it came out a fucking tiger, and it was all messed up and looking and shit, you know, like nah, you ain't supposed to do that. But Esau, he doesn't care, you know. Can you go back? It says, you shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Can you look at that word, mingled seed? And the Hebrew word there is kalayim, kalayim. And it says two kinds, mixture, forbidden practice of cattle crossbreeding, seed sowing, and clothing, garments, and material. That's what they do. Esau is a master at crossbreeding. He's a mad scientist. You see this dude, he put all this stuff together, and again, he synthesized what we're talking about right now, them opioids, man. And that's what, because if you take a certain particular opioid, and with anything, if you overuse something, you could kill yourself. If you underuse something, you may not get the best, results from that product. But it's all about balance in all things, right? So this devil, he synthesizes these drugs to make them more addictive. You know what I'm saying? And so by them being more addictive and not being, properly challenged, what happens? You have what you have today. You got what you got in Kensington Beach, man.
Yeah, those are addictive drugs. You know?
Yeah.
I believe it's whatever the pleasure part of your brain is when you do like some of these drugs, it makes you addicted. You know, but in the law, they don't say that it's against the law to be addicted to something, right? But we don't condone you doing those drugs. Yeah, it's not good. You can sometimes tell me just because it's not a law in the Bible that says don't do drugs, that the Lord not looking at you like you going off, like you a sinner. I believe so. Yeah, because I believe so. I believe if you on addictive drugs, the Lord looking at you like you a sinner, like you're abusing your body.
Well, you messing up your temple.
Yeah.
The Lord Yahawadah said, "What? Know ye not that ye are the temple of the Most High? We are the temple. The Most High dwelleth in us, right? And the Most High can't deal with you in a corrupt temple. He's not going to deal with you. No. These people that you see on the screen, they have a corrupt temple, man. There's a lot of Israelites out here, man. Bug the fuck out, man. And they'll do anything to get these drugs, man. Meanwhile, the Sackler family, they not on this shit. They don't even touch it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Look at their daughters. Look at their wives. Look at their wives, man. They're going to these big ass banquets with Ivanka Trump. You know what I mean? Meet the Sacklers, the family feuding over blame for the opioid crisis, right? The A and B side, they feuding over blame or who's to take blame for it because they don't want to go to jail. And even in that scene that I was showing the elder earlier, they brought a U.S. attorney so they wouldn't go to jail because they were making money off of a drug that was killing people, man. This is the devil. So you got the A and B side. This is what we saw in that scene from Dope Sick.
That's Oxycontin. They're the creators of Oxycontin.
Yeah, they're the creators of that drug, Oxycontin, man.
It's a synthetic poppy.
Yeah, they said it was a quick release, and that's how they sold it to the doctors because they got drug salesmen. They still got that where these people go across the world selling these doctors new drugs and giving them incentives to sell them. Meanwhile, these guys get to lap it up. They get to lap it the fuck up. Excuse my language. They get to lap it up and smile and act like philanthropists. I gave money to this organization, so we're good. We give money to the Academy of Science, which that's nothing but you're doing nothing but washing your evil money, man. Let me share your screen.
That's Romans 14:5. One man esteemeth one day above another. So you got to decide for yourself. You know, you come in our camp, you can't come in our camp, smoking and on, opioids and drugs. All right, we're going to go into pharmakia also. which is witchcraft.
Mm-hmm.
One man esteemeth one day above another. So you might believe it's okay to smoke, and you can't do that with us, though. But if you want to do that, you better hope the Lord is with you doing that. Like I mentioned in my previous videos, I don't remember seeing, like, you know, a man that was full of the Holy Spirit that could break the scriptures down, that the Most High was working with, that was like on the Rastafarian type weed smoker.
Mm-mm.
I don't know any. And if you know that any, you know, people out there that got the truth and knowledge, like our elders and apostles, that are just weed heads on opioids, you know, because it doesn't say in the law that you can't do those things. So I want to see these men that are operating on the highest spiritual level that are on those different types of plants or synthetic drugs.
And especially, like, you know, intravenously or smoking.
Smoking.
Like, bro, can you imagine being on a line with a brother that's hot on a plant or the poppy seed, man?
Yeah.
He all pilled up, bro. Come on, man. First of all, nobody's gonna respect this man. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna deal with you.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you're gonna be like this. I couldn't even talk. You can't even talk to somebody that's in this kind of spirit, man. Right. Like you can't kick the truth to them. You can't let them know anything. They can't, like the elder said, these guys can't break it down like that. You hide up. Now you got to go somewhere, cool down, and get to your regular mind, a clear mind, a functional mind. And these Edomites, they create these drugs because they don't want you functioning. Can you imagine if these Israelite men that you see right here on this screen, Slaki, if these Israelite men that
and a lot of them Edomites, you know, Irish and Italian.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot of them are Jakes. Yeah. Poor, what they call in America, poor white trash. You know what I'm saying? No, it's almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and they a lot of them are Israelites. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of them are Israelites. So I got a preset.
I mean, we do know about Farmer.
This is the book of back in Sirach, chapter 14, verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. Verse 7. It says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Right? That Sackler family, they said that that they were, you know, creating a painkiller for people that were in major pain. So they created this. They had the doctors thinking that this quick release would give these few people quick release from their pain that they were in, and that, you know, it would be beneficial to them. But in the end, the wickedness really came out. It was all about the money. It was all about the destruction of the people. You know, it was all about a profit gain. It had nothing to do. They could care less if they were helping people. So again, if this man do any good, he doing it unwillingly. Hey, look like the last few years they made cannabis, and I hate to keep going back to subject. They made cannabis legal in a lot of states in America, when at one time it wasn't legal, and they were throwing Israelite men in jail over this shit. Hey, you go to certain locations in America, I think even San Francisco and another state or city in Utah, something like that, they made all Schedule I drugs legal. So you can do crack, you can do meth, you can do all that and not go to jail. Mind you, when the prison industrial complex was running hot, they were throwing Jakes in jail for the littlest infraction. Now it's legal. So you got to ask yourself, why? Why all of a sudden they want you high up? Because when they come in and roll on you, they don't want you to be effective.
You be sedated.
You sedated, right? You ain't clear-minded. Yeah. You don't know what the fuck going on. You just floating through, and here comes.
And you worried about whether it's in the law or not.
Yeah, come on, bro.
That's the main thing.
That don't make no sense.
Because it's not in the law. You know, that's what you focused on. That's kind of low level kind of thinking.
Yeah, and everything ain't for everybody.
Right.
You know, even these drugs. Like certain people can smoke weed and be cool and be operable, and other people they bug out.
Yeah, and the smoke is still fucking your lungs up.
Yeah,
no matter,
now you got inhalation smoke. It's something called smoke inhalation.
Yeah, no matter if the herb it has benefit, it has medicinal benefits. You're supposed to consume it in a different way.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the benefits, but you also get the negative side effect, or not side effects, but the direct effects.
Yeah.
Of smoking, inhaling smoke.
Yeah.
You know.
And Gad used to use the poppy seed and these other medicinal plants for their medicinal purposes. Yeah, they were going off. Sometimes they were trying to travel into the spirit world, so they say, and tap into the left-hand side. But a lot of times they were using these drugs to do what? To heal people. They were healers. Esau ain't no fucking healer. This is good, pharmakia.
Yeah, come. And you got when you look at witchcraft in the Greek New Testament, you got the word pharmakia. Pharmakia. So remember, originally, drugs were plants before they could like synthesize it in the laboratory. Drugs were all plants. So anytime you were going like a trip, a spiritual journey, or you were contacting the spirit world for whatever reason, you would use plants. That's what you would use. So now we got to decide, like, okay, what are we using these plants for? Are you just getting high, or are they for medicinal purposes? And then I can't find anything that says that was in our custom or culture, our traditions to actually smoke anything, you know?
Yeah, but Apostle Hart said, man, if the doctor recommended it for you and it worked for you, if you got cataracts or something like that,
yeah, we recommend don't smoke it, but you know,
but the apostle said
you can consume it.
Yeah,
right?
but Apostle Hart had said that
right.
it's fine if that's what you do it for. But he said he don't do it. And obviously the elders and the bishops don't do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's for reasons.
Right.
You know, listen.
Look, I recommend you not to smoke it.
Yeah.
All right. But we're not against consuming it.
Yeah.
All right.
And likewise, even with those opioid plants, man. Yeah. If you consume it in a certain manner, it was beneficial to you. You know? But all that shit, all Esau's, the point of the matter is that all Esau's pharmacy system is based on witchcraft. That's all it is. It's not based on righteousness.
Right.
It's not, because even in the kingdom of heaven, them heathens, they're gonna get sick. Something gonna happen to them. We won't have hospitals, but we'll have people. I'm sure we probably have people that are good with the herbs and that can treat them, so they can keep on keeping on. We ain't gonna need that, but these heathen nations gonna need that. They're gonna need something, some type of know-how to maintain the best quality of life for them. You know.
Here says the use or administration of drugs. All right, so then you have to say, okay, what drugs are you talking about? Yeah, I don't have memories from 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, what drugs they were using for witchcraft. So it all goes in the manner that you use it. You know, I don't recommend you abuse it or smoke if you can't consume certain plants for medicinal purposes. All right. Sorcery, magical arts often found in connection with idolatry.
And that's what these medications, they do that to us. If they'll put you in a certain space, a headspace that you don't know it's sorcery. We just know that it just might give us an effect that we enjoy. You know, and I was telling the elder earlier, it's like a tightrope to tread on. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, these drugs, I don't care what you pick one, choose one. They've been very destructive to our community, man. So-called community. You know, they've been destructive to our people. A lot of these drugs, they're formulated to destroy us worse than they will an Edomite. When I was in the world in college, Edomites would take all kinds of fucking drugs and bounce back the next day. But Jake would try that shit and they would lose it. Like now, you got a lot of these kids doing mushrooms. Jake wasn't doing that shit back in the day. That was some Edomite hippie shit or some Edomite shit that they just do. Now, Jake wasn't popping pills like that. Percocets and all that other shit, which is another opioid, right? They weren't doing that shit. That was some Edomite shit. See, Edomites will take it to the next level. Now, Jake, they surpassing that. They taking it to the next level and to the max, man. But see, as it rewards Esau, the reward for Jake is self-destruction. You're in a self-destructive state. Okay? And when you're doing this work, when you're part of this truth, when you're part of this body, you want to be at the apex of your spiritual health. And if it at all possible, even your physical health. And we all trying it. It's hell. But the point of the matter is that you want to be clear-minded and you want to be focused. Right. And if you can't do that, I don't care what nobody say. You can't do that with a clouded mind and judgment. You can't.
Right. And again, when you smoke, you fucking your lungs up. All right. You get the medicinal purposes. I mean, specifically with weed. You'll get the medicinal benefits, but you also inhaling smoke. All right. So that's going to damage your lungs. So basically, you it's a two-edged sword. If you decide to go to consuming marijuana using through smoke, all right, and it taking drugs, it deceives you too. All right, you can get addicted, and then you can alter your life and your mental state in which, to remember, the psychoactive, all right, in which you're focused on doing a drug when you're supposed to be focused on the faith, working to take care of your situation. So you gotta be mindful if you decide to go down that path because of this new controversy came up. You got to deal with all that. Right? You got to deal with the social ramifications also. Right? Because the majority of us are not going to be burning marijuana, even if brothers consuming it in different ways. So you got to deal with that. You got to take all that into account. Right? I got one more. Psalm 64. And you got something?
No.
Psalm 64 and 1. So this tells you that Esau, he uses different avenues to trap and to destroy our people. All right. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. All right. Who are they? This is the Illuminati. The different families of the Edomites that own the banks, own the big pharma.
Sackler family.
Yep, Sackler family, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Yeah,
that's the traps.
That's like I was going to say, yeah. When them Edomites was coming up with the idea of pushing these drugs onto the people, particularly our people, that's exactly what they were doing. They were like, we can destroy them in secret. Because like you don't know in secret what these people are planning, what they planned in secret. Yeah, they talk about it's about the money, but I'm sure it was about more than that too. Let's put this drug on these people to destroy these people, to weaken them, to pollute them, and they do that in secret, and they don't fear the Heavenly Father. They don't fear His Son. All they do is do what the evil heart is content to do.
Point, shoot, cast. They cast different traps, different avenues for Israel to fall. Because Esau knows we're under the curses, so he's using different plants, whether they classify the drugs or not, synthetic drugs, to deceive Israel into getting hooked on that, so they focus on the drug and not everything else that matters. Like the faith and trying to live a quiet life. Mm-hmm. So don't focus on smoking marijuana or doing fentanyl and Xanaxes and Oxycontin. That's not the main thing. All right? If you want to take it medicinally, that's fine. Marijuana, referring to it. All right.
I had a precept.
Yeah, go.
This is Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands." And it says in the NLT, "What sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night thinking of evil plans." That's these Edomites. You rise at dawn.
Yeah, it's not on the screen.
Oh, Salakia. Let me read that again. This is Micah 2:1. "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." And we're talking about the Edomites right now, but Jake be doing this shit too. But we're talking about Esau right now. Edom can't go to sleep without doing wickedness. He can't go to sleep. He can't do righteousness and go and rest his head. He has to do wickedness. He's always constantly thinking of it. Why? Because it's in the power of their hand. And the NLT says, "What sorrow awaits you who lie awake at night thinking of evil plans. You rise at dawn in a hurry to carry them out, simply because you have the power to do so." And Esau does that. But the scripture says, "Woe," meaning destruction unto you. Destruction is going to come upon you because, see, you can give yourself a pardon down here, but the Heavenly Father, YAHAWADAH, you can't receive no pardon. You Edomites, you're not even fit to judge yourselves, let alone somebody else. It says, "Members of the Sackler family who are at the center of the nation's deadly opioid crisis, have won sweeping immunity from opioid lawsuits linked to the privately owned company Purdue Pharma and its OxyContin medication. It says federal judge Robert Drain approved a bankruptcy settlement on Wednesday that grants the Sacklers global peace from any liability for their opioid epidemic. So they're not responsible for this, according to that judge. Here it is, you killing all these people, you supposed to be put to death.
Right.
You know, but they don't do that. They rush judgment down here. Why? Because of what these people have. These people are worth billions and trillions of dollars. And what, you just some lowly politician or some lowly attorney general? You think you're going to take these people down? That's not going to happen.
Right. And then I was just thinking about, well, if the point is, well, they'll say don't smoke, right? Mm-hmm. So would you take a vaccine orally? They were talking about taking vaccines orally. So I guess they start offering that, you know, technically no law on it.
Yeah.
You know, taking vaccines orally.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
you got to try to find line on what you're willing to accept just because it's not in the law. So
yeah, but that was all I got, brother.
Okay. All right. Let me end it with every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. It's Romans 14:5. Okay, you know, technically, like you said, no law saying that you not to smoke it. You know, I recommend not if you want to take it, don't burn it. You know, because when you burn herbs, you release chemicals that are harmful. Okay.
Somebody said all meat is vaccinated.
Yeah, well, apparently, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. They put different chemicals in meats, like the red meat to get the color.
Yeah.
They color it in. It says Romans 14:5. One man esteems one day above another. Yeah, so I esteem, you know, smoking not to be a good thing. You know, it damages your lungs, but it's not. It doesn't say anything in law that you can't damage your lungs technically. All right. One man esteemeth one day above another. Another brother may not. Another esteemeth every day alike. Some of y'all are saying, well, it's all the same shit. Why? Because meats are vaccinated. So if meat's vaccinated, then that means I can smoke, I can do all types of stuff. Everything's the same. Everything's the same. Yeah. They got oral. Well, it says in law not to cut, right?
Yeah.
But they got oral vaccinations.
Yeah.
You know? What they were at least talking about. I remember that was a thing about oral vaccinations. Mm-hmm. All right. So should I take an oral vaccination to keep my job? But the options they had was intravenously. But now they have oral vaccinations. Can we do that? Is that lawful? You would technically have to say, yeah. Another esteemeth every day alike. I'm not doing it. And I don't recommend brothers to do it. And another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. All right. So we'll leave that there. Hope you were edified. Shalom.
Hey, shalom.